Just crossed the border back into Ontario. We didn't get done till 2 o'clock at the burn, and Scott's plane, Scott's departure time got moved up a little bit, so he decided to jump on the next plane. We stayed and had some lunch, and just talked about the horses. You know, him and I had talked back and forth for you guys after the qualifiers. We were heading to eat, but didn't really get a chance to talk specifically about the horses. And I was very happy to hear that he was kind of impressed. It was hard, you know, because you don't have that raw speed. It's hard to get super excited. You're like, 2-1. Both him and I knew that the track was just so bad today. It was hard to get a real gauge on the horses. A perfect example is Born to Dance looked awesome, but Born to Dance has aluminum shoes on up front, and the track being deep, it would have been much easier for him to get a hold of the track than Paycheck Princess, who had flip-flops on and really didn't have that extra qualifier. So, you know, you're trying to quantify all that. You know, Royal Emeralds, how would she have been had we had the snake corn on her, if she was a little more controllable? He was really happy with her raw power. But she's got her game to work on, which, of course they do. They're all green, right? And then the horse that I thought that he was most impressed with, but quietly, was Memory and Imagination. Now, the only fault to work on with him is he touched his elbow today. Now, we have some options there. He's got a lot of weight on up front. And as he went by me down the lane, I remember looking over and saying, my God, he's really up high into his gait. He really folds up high. So again, things that we can work on with a horse like Memory and Imagination. Myself today, I was impressed with a lot of horses. You know, I get to see the things that impress me the most is the focus under stress, under pressure, right? And a horse like I've always talked about how much I like Pull the Shoes, but to know that she was frustrated today, not being able to get a hold of the track and touching a knee and getting out of gear, but settling in, doing her work, but then trying to drive away down the lane and finish off that mile was impressive. That's the stuff that I like. Sedona Hill was just fast today. She was really, really good. It was just a great day, top to bottom. It seemed like every race we were 1-2 except for Vaccaro's set, and at that point the track was starting to get really bad. And again, Vaccaro's coming in. That was his first qualifier also. So a very interesting day today. Then Jason and I talked a little while ago. We're going to talk about the horses that raced today. We had some horses canceled because of the smoke in the air. Who would have thought we'd be talking about that? That the same forest fires would be causing havoc in Ontario that are causing havoc at Yonkers, at the Poconos, and places like that. It's weird. But that's the case. So we only had 3 horses race tonight. We'll talk about them. Before the horses race tonight, Jason had called me and said they did write a 2-year-old race, 2-year-old races on Wednesday. Some 2-year-old races on Wednesday. You know, what do you think? And I said, well, my first thought is they won't fill. It's my first thought. Secondly, if they do fill, they definitely won't be able to segregate them by sex. So I think the easiest way to put it is I don't want to race 2 of our 2-year-olds together. I don't think anybody has a necessity to race. I would like to see Born to Dance, only because we're trying to prep him for something that he may not be ready for. He may not be good enough for. He certainly looked good today. Is there a next generation horse in there? He seems like he's peeking out a little bit. He's looking out. I don't know. A very easy qualifier for him. He is an extremely sturdy animal. Very well put together, very stout, carries perfect weight. So I don't know, maybe. I'm not against it. They said, well, you have to be very careful, Jason. I don't want to race horses against each other, and at the same token, you know, there's some horses that may need another qualifier that don't need to race. Given the circumstances and the calendar in front of us, I could make an argument for Born to Dance to race, and I could make an argument for Really Don't Care to race next week. Really Don't Care is a stake race on the 28th in Buffalo, I believe. I think it's the 28th. And Born to Dance, as I said, he's close. He's closing in on you know, they're not going to pace away from him. He's a fast colt. Little goofy, stupid, but fast. And it's almost like he wants to do more. Like around the last turn, I knew I was probably going to be a winner. I didn't want to discourage the Mickey filly because, you know, Scotty, it's rare that Scotty would let her roll along. And I could tell that I wasn't surprised that he talked very, very highly of Paycheck Princess also. He said, you know, open her up a little bit, get the hood off her, you know, maybe if she could go without the flip-flops. He felt that she had a huge, huge engine in her, which I guess I was very happy to hear, but not specifically surprised to hear it. We've always known that she was a fast filly. So a lot went on today, but a lot going on. I think, as I said to Jason, the key to tomorrow is going to be staying in close contact with the race secretary, because I don't want him to say, well, we need to use 2. We need Born to Dance and I'm Fancy Like. Pump your brakes. Maybe not ready for that yet. Although Fancy looked good today. She did qualify twice like Born to Dance. The difference is, I know there's going to be people say, well, she went faster than Venice. Easy now. Venice had 1 qualifier. And although Fancy looked really good today, trust me when I tell you, a little bit different horse. Venice Blue Chip is an extremely good filly. Fancy just looks awesome right now, and hopefully she stays that way. I just don't see I'm Fancy Like being a stronger, faster horse than Venice Blue Chip all summer. She certainly was today. Take nothing away from her. Very impressed with her today, but when we stretch this into the whole season, I think what we saw all winter is probably going to stay true throughout the summer, and Venice Blue Chip will not only be our flag bearer in the next generation race, but will be a pretty good filly this year. And take nothing away from Jason. I want everybody, I got a couple people message me saying, I wish you or Scotty had gone with this horse, that. Jason Merriman did a great job today. He was under a lot of stress today, that guy, and, you know, he's qualifying horses against Scotty Zeron, and he knows that if any of them make a break, he'll be like, nice job, Jason, way to put that one on the run. You know, you don't want to look bad, and I think he was in a situation where he felt a little bit stressed and did well. Number 1 rule, especially racing trotters and babies, keep them trotting. And, you know, Antilles was hitting the bike. I guess Scotty told me he was just pounding the bike. He could hear him. So Antilles was pretty much a wash. Irresistible Sun. Again, you guys have no idea. I know they just rated the track fast. They just wrote it up. It was as far from fast as I am from Guelph right now. It was not fast at all. The track was deep, cuppy, powdery. And the fact that those horses all qualified and all did it well on that track today, and I'm not making fun of anybody, it was just circumstances. The water truck broke. There's not much you can do about that. I wish they had waited until 3 o'clock to go get it fixed. They didn't have the pump on it, so they couldn't spray water on it, but they still had water coming out of the water truck itself. So I wish they had waited till 3 o'clock to take it to the mechanics to get fixed, but maybe that's the only time they could get it in. We went with 15 qualifiers on a warm day on a track that desperately needs water without a water truck. And if you want to know how bad it was, just look at the last 4 qualifiers, the dust flying. Scotty and I literally looked like bakers when we got back to the barn. Just looked like coal miners. We're just covered in dirt. Covered in dirt. So, a great day had by everybody today. Now, enough about that. Just another 9 minutes about today. We already talked about today. What about tonight? Patrick the Piranha was good, and I'll be the first to say it. It was funny. I respect Mark Beckwith and the operation him and his wife run for a number of reasons in Saratoga. But what I like about him is he calls a spade a spade. I didn't think Patrick looked rock solid tonight. I didn't think he looked flashy and sharp. I just thought it was a professional animal that got given an opportunity to win a race and took full advantage of it. The kid drove him good. The horse just seemed a little lethargic. He's just not perfect yet. He didn't look to me like he looked to me like he was a little sore up front. Like his feet bothered him a little bit. He just felt like he was striking the ground a little different than I remember him, but I could be 100% wrong. Just because I saw something in the video certainly does not mean that that was accurate. But, you know, I texted Mark, said, hey, great job. Big horse was good. You know, tell your son great job, whatever. Actually, I didn't say that, but should have. he called me immediately. He says, I just don't think he was that good today. Everybody wants to be a perfectionist, right? Horse won. Nobody's going to complain. I'm certainly not. But yeah, he kind of looked like he was a little flat today. He goes, yeah, he was. He said his blood's still not back perfect. It's much better than it was, obviously. So it just doesn't seem awesome. Well, they can't be awesome forever. They can't be awesome all the time. You know what he was? Good enough to win today. We'll worry about next week. Obviously, we're on the same page. I didn't feel he was awesome. That's not a reflection of the work of the Beckwith family. Driver, trainer, caretaker, manager, whatever. It's not a reflection of their work. They got the horse to the winner's circle. I just think looking ahead next week, and it's exactly how Mark felt in this case, was could be a little better. Think you're right? I think he could have been. But he won. 51-4, 27-4 in the end of it. Good mile. Good for him. Onward and upward. Coupe de Ville and Smoking Hot Irish Girl, half in 59, a mile in 56-2. Geez, is there anything Down by the Seaside can't do? There was a trotter by Down by the Seaside. The thing's been a monster the last 2 years, Good horse person. The guy that has that horse, Jeff Nysanger, does a good job. And drives the horse good, too. The race was over as soon as they come up 59, right? And then, Brett had to get her moving, get that filly moving, and got good cover. No excuses. She was third, raced okay. Jason was the one that just called me, so I'll talk to him in a minute. It looked to me like Irish was fifth. Again, raced okay. With those two also, onward and upward. It's a good race, a good trip for them. No slouches. Those are two Buckeye horses that are horses to beat anytime we get in with them. Both Ronnie Gillespie's filly and Jeff's filly are both, we're going to face them all summer long, and we're going to get our punches in. But for tonight, took full advantage of some crafty math on the front end from Mr. Nysanger. So a great day again today. Just super excited. It became evident just before the last one out. I said to Scotty, not bad. Got all those horses qualified. He said, this is pretty remarkable. 22 for 22, and to do it on that track. That's a feather in the cap of everybody in Ohio. Both Jasons, all the caretakers. And for a few of those caretakers, that was the first time in the paddock today. First time in a pretty high stress situation. They did their work very, very well. I was worried when we got there, when we started really looking at it. 3 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th, 3 in the 9th, 3 in the 10th. Oh my God. Something bad's going to happen. Somebody's going to make a mistake or miss some equipment. I was trying to look at everything and catch everything. There was nothing to catch. Everybody just did a wonderful job. Both Jasons, they said, all the crew, all the caretakers, everybody at the barn, in the paddock, warming up. Everybody did a tremendous job, and most of all the horses did an exceptional job on a less than exceptional surface today. So we got everything done here. The horses are all done racing. I believe that's a 1st, 3rd, and a 5th today. We got some babies going tomorrow. I'm going to get up early tomorrow. I got the 2 green shoes over here, green Flash Fly and Insider Trading. Yes, she's going. I had reported that shoe was bothering her the other day. We took the shoe off. Preston cleaned up her foot, fiberglassed it up a little bit. We did take the shim off, so I'm interested to see how that's going to play out tomorrow. Very interested to see how that's going to play out. But excited to qualify Insider Trading and Flash Fly. They are here now. We're getting very, very close to stake season starting for these babies. It starts on Monday in Kentucky, if you haven't seen. Militant and John McDonald's going to go with Militant. I'm going to go with Pickpocket. They're in together. Arson is also in. I got my flight all lined up. I get everything taken care of, ready to go for Monday. Now, what's going to take place between now and Monday, who knows? Many of you have paid attention today. It is my anniversary. I'm going to see my wife for the first time at 9 o'clock tonight. it's quite the whirlwind. So what goes on tomorrow? I'm going to get up and qualify the horses. What happens after that, I don't know. Ollie could go play baseball in Ohio if you wanted. I would have to come back right after and qualify ready for landing in Lonely Lakewood on Saturday. That's going to be exciting. A lot going on this weekend, but not nearly as busy as it's been, and a huge weight lifted off our shoulders to see what took place today. Only a handful of horses left to qualify in Ohio, handful of horses out in the field enjoying a short break, and we'll get everybody qualified here in Ontario. So a wonderful day at the track in the races, a wonderful day at the track at the qualifiers, and a couple scratched from smoke. There's a first. And everything keeps rolling along at the stable. So with that, I'm going to let you go. I hope you guys had a wonderful day. You should have if you had a horse qualifying. I hope you had a wonderful day. I'll talk to you all very soon. Take care.